Do 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 do. Boo! Oh yeah! I completely ignored this strange contraption last time. I'm going to continue to ignore it because it has no pertinence to my goals for this game currently. But we'll get to that eventually. For now, more Gelato Beach, which I did not realize for a while was, at the time I didn't know what gelato was, so I had to look up that it was a kind of ice cream. Not just regular old ice cream, but a specific kind that's creamier, and it made me really want gelato, whatever that was. And I think learning that is what led me to wanting to figure out what all of the other names of all the levels mean. I don't know if Pianta is supposed to have any special meaning. It just looks like Pinata, except spelled slightly differently. It's just an anagram of Pinata, except without the little squiggly line over the N. Yeah, if there was any cutscene in the game that I could skip, it would be that one. It's not long, but it's a little bit slow, and every time you enter this level, it's the same cutscene, so it's a little bit dumb. Oh yeah, I never got to this M up here. I should have. It was just not in my head. Pretty much just going off of my memory for all these blue coins. I did make a whole bunch of notes about them, but I'm not really referencing the notes right now. Oh yeah, shoot, another thing that I could have done. Well, I think I'm gonna save that for later. There's blue coins that you can get by spraying the sand. Hold on, let me see if... is there something that you can spray here? Yeah, okay, never mind. I'm gonna do all these now, because this specific blue coin doesn't appear until after episode 1. I didn't know which ones it appeared in, but apparently episode 2 is one of the ones that you can use to get that. Then I think there might be 2 more. I want to say there's 2 more. Let me just spray the entire world to find it. It should be over by the surfboards. Where are the surfboards? Surfboards are over there. Yeah, here we go. Spray the center for great justice. And... hello? We gonna do it? Okay, the lines got thick enough. We used Flash's line thickness tool for long enough. Made it go from... what is it? Hairline to 10. At least it used to be limited to 10. And then Flash 8 changed that, and now it's a lot thicker. You can make super thick lines. Yeah, that's what a Cataquack does, by the way. This is a Cataquack, which is a pretty great name. It reminds me of Rat Attack, a game that nobody has played on the Nintendo 64. And I don't know why I remember it. But it was a game where you played as cats and formed boxes around rats to collect them, I think. And that was it. Alright, this is Mirror Madness Tilt Slam Bam. I remember now. I'm supposed to be doing something about this. Alley-oop. Yeah, this is this might be one of my least favorite missions, actually, in the game. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just a little bit tedious, and the cutscene at the beginning doesn't really help. Yeah, so this is the... what is it? The Flagra fight from Metroid Prime. It's totally what it is. Except it's not really a fight, it's just... this. Oh, there's a blue bird. I have to... I could worry about it now, but I will worry about it later, whenever it's a little bit more in my way, I guess. Alright. I don't know what these things are. They're basically Cataquacks, except they're like Cataquack ducklings or something, and they have Pikmin leaves on their heads. Really don't know what those are. Or maybe they went through that machine in Super Paper Mario that puts a leaf on your head. Yeah, that's probably what happened. They crossed universes, they turned into paper, and then turned into CG again. Although Super Paper Mario is not really a game made of paper so much as the others, it's computer graphics. A little bit different. And one more mirror. Mirror, mirror on the beach, who's the most fabulous blood-sucking leech? And the answer is Kirby. Because why not? Yeah, this would be one of my least favorite missions in one of my favorite games. There's Rico Harbor in the background, by the way. Not anymore, but there was. You know, considering that this is one of my favorite games, and also Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, and Twilight Princess, I've always said that the Nintendo 64... Hey, we have 64 blue coins, how relevant. I've always said the Nintendo 64 was my favorite console. It's just weird because I prefer I prefer Twilight Princess over Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. I prefer Thousand Year Door over Paper Mario on the 64. I prefer Mario Sunshine over 64. I like Double Dash and don't like Mario Kart 64. Yeah, how many times can we say 64? But whenever I think about it further, like, okay, another thing that the GameCube has that the Nintendo 64 doesn't is Luigi's Mansion, and then there's Wario World. Those are games that I really like. But then they don't have Star Fox 64, and they don't have any of Rare's classics. So, I don't know. They're sort of even in my mind, I guess. Maybe I don't have a particular favorite, either Nintendo 64 or GameCube. And now maybe I will stop saying 64, even though one of my friends in high school, it was his favorite number. For reasons that I cannot recall. It wasn't because of the console, though. This should have been the 64th episode. This is a funky boss. I like the way that the music changes as he gets up. Now it goes a little bit faster. Yeah, this is basically... What is this one called? Wiggler Ahoy, full steam ahead. Yeah, full steam ahead is right. I think this one... To me, this boss is kind of like a train going off the tracks. So, I think the steam thing is certainly... I'm trying to think of the word, just apt for the description of this boss. Now, any moment now, it'll come back. I will make the shell formation come out of the ground. I guess that's, I don't know, a turtle? Maybe that's what that is. Kind of think it's fun whenever it flies into the water like this. Broop. And then it goes really nuts here. Goes into a circle. At least I think it goes pretty nuts. It's not really doing what I'm expecting it to yet. Can I just do this again? Well, I wasn't doing it in time, but... Yeah, I thought that the Wiggler went up the hills and everything. Maybe that only happens if you're further to the other side of the beach. Alright, come back. Let me time this correctly. Keep coming by the same dune bud, if you would. Make this a little more convenient for me. Yeah, I am slightly disappointed that it didn't go up the hills this time, but at the same time it's easier if I do this. If it cooperates with me. And it turns into sand and disintegrates. A bit of a morbid death for our dear Wiggler, who was not really doing anything particularly horrible. Like, yeah, it was kind of humongous and angry, and it probably felt bad about its body falling apart in the previous mission, but then it put itself back together again. No idea. I think that boss fight is better than the one in Mario 64 anyway, because that one you just jump on the Wiggler and that's it. This one has some strategy behind it, kind of. And it's also much bigger and more threatening. Gelato Beach. The Sandbird is born. Oh yeah! Time for everyone's favorite mission. Not really. It's nobody's favorite. I don't mind it. I think it's kind of fun, but... yeah, a lot of people seem to hate this one. Mostly because, I guess, if you don't really know what you're doing, it is pretty easy to fall off. Because the ground doesn't really... You don't move with the ground as you jump, which is pretty typical for platformers. It's nothing particularly special. I don't know, it doesn't feel totally natural, I guess. Before we get to that, we're gonna have some fun times with 2 blue birds. 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. I never really understood that. I know that 4 and 20 is 42. Or no, not 24 is what I meant. 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Or the answer to the question, rather. Alright, that's 1. Hooray. And now we will innocently turn another blue bird into a blue coin. Just like we innocently turn Lumas into planets. Which is a bit more impressive of a transformation. You know that it's impressive because they have to scream, TRANSFORM! Before they do it. Let's see, can I get to this? Looks like I can. Cool. I was not actually fully expecting to be able to. And, yeah, there's a blue coin over there that I can't get to yet because I don't have the rocket nozzle. Unless the rocket nozzle appears in this mission. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just kind of messing around now, because I'm not totally sure what I'm doing. I failed to mention as I was doing it, there's 1 blue coin that you get from putting a juice, or putting a fruit into the juicer at the top of that hut. Which is really obscure. Yeah, there's the turbo nozzle. I don't really need it right now. Or ever. Whatever, I'll just go in and do all the fun stuff with the sandbird that everyone hates. Become one with the sand egg. Yeah. Thankfully my water is refilled here. Don't know why it says it's climbing around the tower. I guess that's another word for ascended, but it is a little bit weird because it's not visibly climbing, as in like a monkey. Alright, blue coin. 1 of 4 that is, that we find in this mystical world that looks like it might be part of the City in the Sky in Twilight Princess, maybe. The level doesn't have any sandbirds, it has chicken people, though. So that's sort of close. Yeah. And then without much warning, it very, very slowly turns sideways. I get another blue coin. Yeah, I think this is kind of cool. It's not programmed as well as I would like, but there's still really not much of an issue that I have with it. And it turns back, ever so slowly. Thankfully the sand does not turn to mush as we spray it with lots of water. That would certainly make this harder. If anyone remembers that, like, sand stingray in Mario Galaxy 2 that breaks apart whenever it runs into cactuses, cacti, cactuars. I like that mission in that game. Now just be careful not to fall off. It's like Sonic Adventure, be careful not to fall off as you go in a straight line across some ice. And there is no danger, even if you do fall off, nothing happens. Alright. So that's one of those... That's one of the levels in that, that NeoGAF thread about worst levels in any Mario game, and it really wasn't that bad. Alright, what is up next? Oh, this guy. This This character is most unusual. I don't really understand him. I mean, I keep skipping the intros to these levels or these missions. I don't really need to, but I just feel like, I don't know, I don't usually watch them. But this guy, this is second piantissimo. Like, I don't know, is that a musical term? Or pianissimo? So it's probably piantissimo. Just pianissimo with a T. Yeah, and if you look closely, you can't really tell, but the model under his mask is actually the model of the running man from Ocarina of Time, I believe. Which is completely random, but also it makes sense because he is a runner himself. And now we shall race to that flag! Unless it's Il Piantissimo. I always read it as 2, like a Roman numeral 2, but it might be I and then a lowercase l. I'd never really thought about that before. That's probably what it is, because it's Spanish. Is that a Spanish word? I don't know, anyway. This guy shows up a few times in the game. He is not difficult any of the times that you race him. So, yeah. Unless you just don't know the level very well yet, but... I don't know, is this like... This is mission 5, so you probably should know the layout by now. Run around the flag. Okay, I'm done. We'll just talk to all the people while he's... Yeah, okay, he's here now. It's not quite a tortoise in the hare situation because I'm the hare who has already won the race and now I'm lollygagging for no reason. Oh, come on, okay. I just look over at my computer and it says, restart your computer to finish installing important updates. And it's saying restarting in 13 minutes. Yes, I will postpone this. Probably in 10 minutes because we're running close enough to the end of the episode anyways. I'm tired of computer updates. Why do they have to exist? I mean, I'm sure there's a way to turn them off, I just am too lazy to figure that out right now. Now actually, I think, you know what? That's the last mission that I want to do in Gelato Beach for now anyways. So, maybe let's end this on a more interesting note, and go look at that Bowser boat, which I don't even want to call it a boat. I have no idea what the heck it is, but boat is probably not the best word for it. It's an abomination, for sure. I didn't expect the loading zone for the cutscene to be that far away, but okay. Now she knows who the real Mario is. And ridiculously long lick-a-tongue. Spraying water all over Mario's face. He's used to it by now, though.
That is Peanut Island. The villain's secret hideout must be there.
Spoiler, it's not. Yeah, I don't know why I felt the need to spoil that, it's just not all that interesting. Although, what we do upon entering the stage is certainly interesting, so we're gonna do that right now. Oh, you know what I should have done? Well, I can still do it in another mission, but whenever this guy is working on the cannon, the guy next to the cannon right now, you can actually ground pound through him and see his design from underneath. Like, you can see some of the character rigging or something. It's a little odd. This is why sometimes I like when games aren't really well built, because strange stuff can happen that's kind of cool. Right, is there one here? Yeah, here we go. Let's do it. No? Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on, you can do better than this. There we go. Yeah. He has his arms piercing through his body, and he has a very hollow body. Because you're never expected to look at him from underneath, so they didn't design around that. I don't know. It's a useless little tidbit that is all the more charming for the game. Listening to this fine remix of the Underground theme once again. This game uses the Underground theme a lot. Suddenly he has the ability of flight. Wild West standoff. Now I will make the same joke that everyone makes during this part, and say that Shadow Mario is apparently Moses, because he can part the waters. Except he doesn't really part the waters, it's just like that waterfall in The Incredibles, where a door opens and then the waterfall parts and it's all super cool. Yeah, it's just the door opens. I like how Flood is usually so perfectly aware of what's going on, and then for that moment, Flood is like, what? Did the perpetrator leave? I can't see, so I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so this is Mecha Bowser. And then he burns the screen, and we have to get a new game system.
Amazing! What a spectacle! Is this a new show of ours? You guys are great! Whoever hides you needs a raise.
Completely oblivious to the danger of the situation, except it's not that dangerous because I don't even know if the Mecha Bowser device, whatever you would call that, the machine, I don't know if it can even walk. It stands in place and has flames coming out of it. Well, okay, it does shoot bullet bills, I guess that's fair enough. But you can beat this fight without even worrying about the bullet bills, really. You can keep getting hit by them, and there's almost no consequence. Let's see how quickly I can beat this fight. I remember having a ton of trouble with this as a kid, and I'm not really sure why, because it's really not difficult. Maybe I worried too much about the bullet bills, maybe I just was really awful at the aiming. I'm not really sure. But you get a really close hit right there, and then the next shot is not that much harder. Douse the flames with water. Yeah, we've hit him 3 times now. I guess you just hit him 4 times. And I don't think there's even a limit to how many times you go around the track, so... For the record, though, it's pretty frickin' awesome that you fight a boss from on a roller coaster. It doesn't make any sense, but it's really cool. And then whenever I finally beat this boss as a kid, I thought this was the greatest cutscene ever, and I would repeatedly play the boss fight just to see it again, but it is really not that good of a cutscene. I guess I was amazed by the big reveal that, oh no, it's Baby Bowser. Or Bowser Jr., I guess. They're different.
Mama Peach,
She is so clueless. I don't get why Peach is so much of a dunce in this game. Yeah, I didn't have the best judgment as a kid, because I thought that this voice acting was superb. But I think really I liked their voices, not really how they were acted. Another thing that kind of shocked me, I guess, was the realization that Flood and the paintbrush were both made by Egad from Luigi's Mansion, and I thought that Egad was only a character from Luigi's Mansion and he wasn't going to appear in anything else. He never appears in this game, but he's still referenced, so I thought that was cool.
So I tried to get Mario sent to prison, but they didn't lock him up, and now he came to steal Mama Peach again. You pest!
I like how stupid his bib is. Whenever... It's totally a bib. Whenever he puts it on, he has a near-perfect disguise, but whenever it's off, it's just a bib. With some chalk on it.
No.
And a poorly drawn mustache. Yeah, so was that not a riveting reveal? Oh yeah, on that note, whenever he stuck out his tongue earlier, and it was this super long tongue, Bowser, or Bowser Jr., never has a long tongue like that ever again, in this game or any others. So, I would kinda like to see that again. But it's not meant to be, I guess. They just did it as some weird visual gag one time. So I hope that was exciting. Thank you all for watching. I actually don't know what we're doing next time. Probably just more Peanut Park. Penis Park.